Commentary team, good afternoon to Craig Brown, the Scotland coach, and first Martin Tyler.
Hello Paul. Well, the heat wave has certainly extended this far north. It's an absolutely beautiful afternoon for watching football. We'll see how the players cope with it, but with the old firm under a certain amount of fire at the moment. Celtic bottom of the league, of course. Rangers roasted in the press up here for what happened in Gothenburg in midweek. Craig, it's a great chance for two other clubs to show some positive sides to the Scottish game.
Yes, it is, and I think we've got two clubs who are likely to be showing the signs there. They're very, very well organised, both teams, and have started the season well, so I think we're in for a treat this afternoon.
And two teams guided by two very different characters. Tommy McLean, who's as shrewd as they come, been around a long time, and Jim Duffy, about whom many are saying, well, he's going to have a really great managerial career, still in his 30s.
Well, yeah, Jim cut his teeth at Falkirk first of all, and then across the road here with the great rivals of Dundee United at Dundee. He did well there, and he was appointed at Easter Road, and that's been approved by the Easter Road fans. They're happy with his signings. They seem to be delighted, particularly with Chick Charnley. So I must agree that Jim Duffy's settled in very well and has got a good career as a manager ahead of him.
Well, both sets of supporters can look forward to something significant if the result goes their way, because whatever happens, either Dundee United or Hibs will be top of the table when this game is finished. Hibs, having played 1-1, would benefit from the draw, but if Dundee United add 3 points here to their point in their first league game, well, they would just edge past the current incumbents at the top of Scotland's Premier Division, St Johnstone. It is Dundee United's sixth official game already this season, but they're first at home in the Premier Division. But Tommy McLean, the manager who's overseen such an improvement at the club, is a little concerned that the European adventures of the last couple of weeks have been a distraction, and he hopes they won't deflect his players from their principal domestic task. Hibs, of course, with that high-profile start when they put the skids under Celtic 2 weeks ago. Let's confirm the team news for you, and despite some spectacular scorelines, Dundee United don't really feel that they've got into their stride yet, and a casualty of that today, last season's leading scorer Kjell Olofsson, with 18-year-old Stephen Thompson starting a senior game for the first time alongside 9-goal Gary McSwiggan, who was left out for tactical reasons in Turkey on Tuesday. Missing today, Stuart McKimmie, who's resting a sore knee.
Yes, there's a bit of pace up front for Dundee United there, and I think they're depending on that against Hughes and Welsh, particularly with Winters and Swigan, who are very quick. Young Thompson's a fine player, scored an excellent goal against Queen of the South with his left foot last week, and I'll be interested to see the new Duncan Ferguson.
Well, for today, Hibs have lost two of Jim Duffy's summer signings, Tony Rougier and Steve Crawford, both injured. So Kevin Harper comes in for his first appearance of the season. And Barry Lavetti, a scorer against Alloa in the Coca-Cola Cup, keeps his place up front. Otherwise, it's the side which beat Celtic at Easter Road and instantly gave the Hibs fans hope of a much better campaign to come.
Yeah, I think the critical position here is in the centre of midfield, where Chick Charnley likes to rule the roost, and if he gets any space at all, that'll be a very, very influential position. I think Zetterlund will mark him initially. Harper, of course, playing just off the front, darting in, very quick, darting in beside the strikers, Power and Lavetti.
The instantly recognisable figure of John Robotham is the referee, and Dundee United, the most improved top division side in Scotland last season, third place straight after promotion, and a terrible start to last season was a tremendous achievement, and yet whenever they came up against Hibs, their standards seemed to slip. Surprisingly so against a club that survived at this level by the skin of their teeth in the playoff system. So Dundee United, as they like to do, playing up the Tannadice slope in the first half. Former player here, Brian Welsh, in the Hibs defence these days. McSwiggan chasing. And Gottskalksen, the Icelandic goalkeeper, who won't be available when these two clubs reconvene here in the Coca-Cola Cup on Wednesday. He's been called up for World Cup duty for Iceland. Charnley on the ball in more ways than one at the start of this season.
Yeah, the teams have lined up as we expected, Martin, and Zetterland and Charnley opposing each other in midfield. Peterson in the left back area. Peterson's an excellent man marker, and he seems to be just awaiting the arrival of Pat McGinley in the forward area. So, as we expected, an interesting opening.
Hoisted on by McGinley. Harper very well forward. It's a big season for him. Indeed for other strikers for Hibs, with Darren Jackson having moved on to pastures new at Celtic. Pedersen coming off the worse here in the challenge with Willie Miller. They're very tough, Hibs at the back. Willie Miller, Hughes, Welsh.
Yeah, they are very tough at the back, and I think United have got a very tough midfield with Davy Bowman there and Jamie Dolan in particular. They are very, very hardy customers in midfield, and they won't be messed around. But the Norwegian Peterson, being treated at the moment, looks to have survived that clash with Willie Miller.
I'm sure he was earmarked for dealing with Tony Rougier had Hibs been able to field him today, but Rougier missing. It wasn't the best header from Welsh. Charnley able to make a little bit of space for himself, and clever enough to stay in control even when Dundee United were getting to him. Malpass, here's Pedersen. And McSwiggan with a chase here, but the goalkeeper, Gottskallsken, was reading the play quickly.
Yeah, I think that'll be the ploy. Get it quickly behind the Hibs two central defenders for the pace of McSwiggan and Winters. And we saw it in action in the early stages, Martin.
Shot in the end came from the 18-year-old Thompson. He's scored a couple of goals already this season as a substitute, and given the chance to start for the first time, and this 48 hours after he played a full reserve game for Dundee United against Hibs. It's his sensible little pass for McSwiggan. Pedersen setting off to try and gather the throw. John Hughes hoping that he's in charge here. Cleared by McGinley. Been quite a lot of talk from the Hibs camp about their new positive attitude, and that's going to be put to the test here as Dundee United try and set a quick early pace.
Yes, again trying to exploit the pace of Winters, but Jimmy Boko there did very well. I don't think there was any infringement.
And straight after that, a quick counter-attack by Hibs has produced a corner conceded by Malpass. Charnley once of Dundee, just up the road.
Charnley's delivery is usually excellent. Just as I would say that. He goes a shocking corner, and away goes Robbie Winters.
And it's Stephen Presley who recognised the opportunity to counter-attack here. They're having to get support from behind. It's come from Thompson. Stopped by Harper. And quickly was Malpass, still going strong at the age of 35. 5 is Perry. Andy Dow, another of the former Dundee players, taking on Dundee United in the green and white of Hibs today. Dow actually born in the city.
Yeah, then he had a spell at Chelsea as well, Martin, where with all the big name players he couldn't get any stability in the first team, and Hibs were glad to get him back. Alec Miller signed him, and he's done well on the left side for Hibs.
McSwiggan. Boko, who had 6 years in the French First Division with Lens, played around 200 games at a very high level. known in France by his full name, Jimmy Adjovi Boko, but the Adjovi seems to have been lost somewhere in mid-channel.
Yeah, I saw his game against Celtic along with you, and I thought he had an outstanding game in his first game for Hibs, and he's done very well since. So he's the most popular player with the Hibs fans.
And with the commentators too. Unmissable
Yes,
figure.
Yeah.
Winters. Now Perry. Both Perry and Presley with a bit of licence to push on when the time is right for Tommy McLean's team. And it's Pedersen as well from the left-hand side. The air shot was from Winters. It's a shame for Hibs that Steve Crawford hasn't made it today. And both Lee Power and Barry Lavetti are a bit short of full match sharpness. Lavetti missed a lot of last season with a blood poisoning problem. And Harper too, just back from the treatment table. But it's a good bold run from him. And Andy Dow setting himself on the left foot.
Yeah, good play from Kevin Harper initially. Kevin had an excellent run down the right side and his cross was first class, and Andy Dow's favoured left foot just struck it over the top. But you're right that Stephen Crawford's absence has given the opportunity to Lavetti and to Harper, both exciting young players with a bit of pace.
As the touch from Thompson. And it gave McSwiggan something to chase and Welsh something to worry about. And the outcome is a corner to Dundee United.
And I better not say anything about Davy Bowman's delivery, because that'll be the kiss of death as it was to Chick Chanley a minute ago. But United usually have 3 players at the front post. I see only 2 on this occasion.
So it will be Bowman to take the corner. Aiming for Presley. Thompson definitely a handful in the air. Bowman trying to keep it alive in the Hibs penalty area for the home side. Bowman. Now Dow and Boko with some room to move into. Harper in the centre. Power is there as well. And Lavetti here. McGinley. Lee Power just trying to drift away from Malpas into that far post area. The ball was too long for him.
Yeah, Lee Power did try to peel off the outside defender, who was Maurice Malpas, and the ball was too long.
Looped in by Boko. Dykstra decided to leave it to the defenders in front of him. Harper has done well to get it back for Hibs, who have a problem because Lee Power needs some attention here.
Well, I think Stuart Colley, the Hibs physio, has a bit of work here, because that looks quite a nasty facial injury that Power has. Jim Duffy contemplating, as he does, with Jackie McNamara, his colleague beside him.
Well, there was nothing malicious about it, but it was certainly an arm into the face of Power. Of course, there are very strict laws now about the spilling of blood, and players not really being permitted to stay on the pitch when blood is still flowing. So they've got to attend to the damage there to Power.
Yeah, it certainly was an accidental elbow from Maurice Malpas. There was, in my opinion, absolutely no intention, but it's quite surprising to see Maurice has been getting attention for his elbow.
Robotham just explaining the etiquette here. And, Dave Bowman getting it as far away as possible. He's a very fierce competitor, Bowman.
Yeah, it wasn't appreciated by the Hibs fans below us, but I think he was carrying out the instructions of the referee.
Power still off for attention. Hibs temporarily down to 10 men. Harper taking the chance to venture further forward. Well, it's an imaginative piece of play from Lavetti. Didn't quite get Hibs as close to Dijkstra's goal as they would have liked. Presley. Boko quickly to Winters, who got back to get a foot in. And overhit by McGinley. Welsh with the header. Now Bowman. Have to go back more than 3 years to find the last time that Dundee United beat Hibs.
Good goalkeeping from Gutscarlson. He left his line very quickly and there was absolutely no hesitation, and he was first to the ball quite clearly. But excellent goalkeeping from the Icelandic keeper.
Pedersen. Well, Tommy McLean not concerned about the past history of Dundee United failings against Hibs. He wants his side to get off and running with the form that they showed last season for some considerable periods, to finish in the European qualifying slot. Winters.
Yeah, since Tommy arrived here, Martin, Dundee United's form just completely changed, and they ended up comfortably third in the league. And one wonders what would have happened had Tommy come a little earlier to Tannadice. And he's working with his Jim as chairman, his brother, and they make a fine partnership. If he's got the success that Jim had in the 80s, he'll do exceptionally well.
Yes, that was the time we all used to come here and describe the city of Dundee as famous for Jute, Jam and Jim McLean.
That's right, the famous Barcelona came here and struggled in this very stadium.
Pedersen pushed away by Lavetti, and John Robotham stepping in. Competitive spirit, and a little bit after that. It was that arm that Lavetti objected to, and he was being hauled back onto his feet by the Norwegian.
Yeah, it was well handled by John Robotham, who diffused the situation calmly.
Willie Miller. Good leap by Presley. Zetterlund. They need Willie Miller to make a challenge there, do Hibs, and he didn't fail them. Well, this central midfield battle between two experienced players, the Swede Zetterlund and Chick Charnley, each trying to maybe exploit defensive fallibilities of the other.
Yeah, I think Jim McLean thinks that, Tom McLean thinks that Zetterlund can run off the Chick, who won't be too conscientious defensively. And it happened there, but when Chick was staying outside the play, the ball quickly was transferred to him and he began to attack, and then Zetterlund to come back and foul him to gain possession again.
Down with the throw. Power patched up and anxious to be involved again. Charnley. He's done well to make space for the cross, and Pat McGinley is very good in the air. And well, that was dangerous from Dolan. even though he felt that he was the injured party to start with, that could have resulted in a penalty. Harper. All coming from some clever work from Charnley. McGinley. Charnley's in there again. And here's Power! And Lavetti was there again. He seemed to have put it on a plate for Power, but Dundee United survived.
Yeah, that looked the best chance of the game by far. And Power, I feel, had a great chance to score for Hibs.
Brave header by Lavetti. Charnley. In from Andy Dow. And the header from Power is off target. So let's look back again at that brave effort from Lavetti. It came behind Lee Power, but when he turned, the goalkeeper seemed to be beaten, but was able to make the block.
Yeah, that was good, brave goalkeeping. In the first instance, Barry Lavetti was exceptionally brave with his header across, and Lee Power just behind them, and excellent goalkeeping from Dykstra.
Here come Hibs again. Away though by Malpass. Boko's header. Charnley. Malpass in that dangerous area where you get too close to a goalkeeper. Bright little spell this from Hibs. So much willingness amongst Jim Duffy's players to do better than last season, where they lived on the brink for so long and just stopped themselves toppling over the precipice into Division 1. Dow. Boko. Now Harper. Malpass possibly could have let that run, but he needed to be told. Charnley with great vision for McGinley. Well, Jamie Dolan stopping the supply then towards Power and Lavetti. Charnley. Bowman just had enough spring to cut out the pass, which was aimed for Boko's break down the Hibs left. Foot raised by Hughes, and at least the free kick to Dundee United will give them a chance to regroup defensively.
Yeah, they've been under a wee bit of pressure the last 5 minutes or so, and it's been noticeable that Hibs have been edging into the game, and were a little unlucky not to score. Good goalkeeping by Dykes, an excellent signing by Tommy McLean from Queen's Park Rangers.
Well, Thompson showing that he knows where the goal is, but in the Premier Division he'll have to hit the shots a bit more powerfully than that. Zetterland getting the better of Charnley that time. Coolly played by Welsh. Boko. Typical Dave Bowman with the challenge. Dolan needed to go a second time and forced it through to Winters. Dispossessed cleverly by Charnley. Bowman gets it back. Zetterland. Winters. Stopped by Hughes. Charnley looking for some willing running. McGinley's throw. Lavetti. Well, it sat up for the shot. Dykstra got a touch. Corner to Hibs.
Excellent throw in there from Hibs, and you can see the quick shot from Lavetti. He's always ready to shoot in sight, and good goalkeeping, although I think it was actually going to sneak past and hit the side net, but Dykstra took no chances.
Welsh, who would have really revelled in a goal here after 11 years as a Dundee United player. Welsh glancing it, but not solidly enough. On from Thompson. Welsh is there again. Game's begun, as you'd expect, at quite a pace. Whether the players will be able to sustain it in this clammy, sticky weather. At least the sun's gone in for a moment to maybe help the temperatures drop a little. 22 goals already scored by Dundee United this season from their 5 matches, though 17 came against very part-time opposition from Andorra in their preliminary round of the UEFA Cup. 3 hat-tricks already this season for Gary McSwegan. Thompson. It's good play from him, and he's put it on a plate for Robbie Winters. Dundee United take the lead, Winters the scorer, but the 18-year-old Thompson played a major part in the goal.
Yeah, magnificent play from Thompson, and he stepped inside 2 Hibs defenders, put a cross to the back post, and Robbie Winters was in perfect position. The youngster did exceptionally well there, and the goal beautifully finished by Winters. Now that started from a throw out from Dykstra, who's been kicking the ball all afternoon, Martin. He threw it out, and United built the ball right up from their own throw out to finish with an excellent goal.
And this after some Hibs pressure. Another shot there from Lavetti. Robbie Winters has also been filling his boots in the early European games. But here in the Premier Division, the first home goal of the league campaign for Tommy McLean, and it's come at the halfway point of the first half.
And still Tommy doesn't smile.
Well, I think he'd be concerned about some aspects of the Dundee United performance to this point, but they're in front.
So. I would think so. I think it flatters him slightly, although the goal was beautifully constructed from the back. As I repeat, it came from a throw out, carefully built up the left side. Wonderful play by Thompson, a good finish.
Presley comes off the head of Hughes. Perry. It's Bowman. Hughes trying to prevent a corner, but he hasn't been able to do that. And Lee Power off the pitch again. Still troubled by that damaged nose. And Brian Welsh also in need of attention.
Yeah, that's John Ritchie, the goalkeeping coach, who's there, and Power is back into action.
Well, the stoppage in play gives us another chance to reflect on the golden moment for Robbie Winters, but he'd be the first to point out that there were plenty of others involved.
Yeah, it was excellent, and this is very, very good play indeed. Calm passing before the vital cross. And Thompson goes between 2 defenders in exceptionally fine fashion, and Robbie Winters was exactly in the right spot to finish comfortably. It was a good goal, but I think the Hibs defence will be questioning themselves about how easily Thompson got through and how unmarked Winters was at the back post. 1 or 2 players might have cut it out before it got to Robbie Winters.
Well, Welsh to soldier on. Zetterland. Charnley doing the chasing. Back with Zetterland again. Thompson, shrewd header. Well, Stephen Thompson realising that he was too far out to go for goal himself and popped it down again towards Robbie Winters.
Yeah, nice bit of play again, and Robbie Winters a bit early with his overhead kick, but wonderful play by young Thompson again. Excellent in the air, this lad. If I dare remind the United fans, he's not unlike a guy that played across the road called Alan Gilzine, who eventually went to Spurs. He's the same in appearance and very good in the air also.
Boko. Straight onto the head of Malpass. Oh, and Bowman almost drilling that through towards the run of McSwegan. United's ball again with Pedersen. McGinley. Power trying to bulldoze his way through, and having decked Perry, the whistle was always going to go.
Yeah, Power barged into Mark Perry there, and the referee correctly gave the free kick to United.
But Tommy McLean ummed and ahed about his front players.
Tommy in nice calm mood as usual.
But he decided to go with Thompson, with Andy McLaren not 100%. He's been a little under the weather with illness. Olafson's been out of touch.
Well, his decision's been vindicated with an excellent play by young Thompson, but I wouldn't rule out an appearance from Andy McLaren and from Olafson in the second half as they kick down the slope.
Zetterland. Dolan. Bowman. Don't think Zetterland really fancied that. Just played a yard or two ahead of him. Favoured Welsh. And here's McGinley. Hibs trying to regain some of the rhythm that they were showing before they went a goal behind. McGinley for Dow. Beaten out by Dykstra. Harper. Well, it needed to be put back towards the target, and then anything might have happened with the goalkeeper having just made the save from the cross shot from Dow.
That's right, excellent pass from Pat McGinley into the path of Andy Dow, who's got a wonderful left foot, and Dow struck it in exceptional fashion. Good goalkeeping. He didn't try to hold it, otherwise it would have been popped in by Barry Lavetti.
Hughes, such a natural leader. Well, just to remind you that the Dundee United victory, and they would go top of the Scottish Premier Division this evening and join near neighbours Dundee, who sit proudly at the moment on top of Division 1. Bowman. I'm not sure what he was setting himself for there, Dave Bowman. Maybe saw Götz Kalkson coming out and was hoping to chip it over the Icelandic goalkeeper.
Well, it was a great opportunity to play in Mark Perry, who was overlapping him, but Davy Bowman decided to shoot, and it was well over the top.
Here is Perry on the ball now. McSwegan. The United fans over there felt that Brian Welsh pushed the United striker, Gary McSwegan. The assistant referee indicated throw to Hibs. Zetterland's header. We've got live matches for you on Sky Sports the next 2 days. Luton against Southend, Monday Night Football on Sky Sports 3. And St Johnstone against Celtic from the Coca-Cola Cup up here in Scotland on Sky Sports 1. On Tuesday. What a story Celtic are at the moment. Not quite the tale that perhaps their followers were expecting. With so many new faces at the club. Bottom, if you haven't picked up with a big story, not just in Scotland, but all over Britain over this footballing weekend. Celtic beaten at home by Dunfermline to follow their defeat, and pretty comprehensive it was, if not on the scoreline, to the self-same Hibs a couple of weeks ago you're watching today. Hughes. Picked off by Presley. Now McGinley. Harper. Hibs a goal down. Charnley. For that pass to Boko on a couple of occasions, the header into a useful area, but not quite far enough away from Dijkstra's goal. Miller. Harper finding a little bit of room off the front men. Dow, his switch from right to left and back to the right again. Power, good turn, good save by Dijkstra. Low to the goalkeeper's left. For a big man, he had to drop very quickly.
Yeah, the goalkeeping has been excellent throughout the match, and that save there from a close range shot from Lee Power was exceptional. To get down at round about his feet, as you say, for a big man, was very, very good goalkeeping indeed.
Lee Power, who's had a number of clubs in a relatively short career, still troubled by this bleeding nose, has to go off for more attention. Charnley with the corner. Thompson showing that his height can be useful defensively as well.
Yeah, young Thompson, first class, rose above everyone to clear the danger there.
Boca. Thompson again. Or sensible touch. Bowman. Now Perry. Swigan in the centre, Thompson in there as well. Ball with Winters. Well, they are a man light, remember. Hibbs, Charnley's looking daggers at Lavetti, but Lee Power still off the pitch. Dolan.
Yeah, you made the point earlier, Martin, about Kevin Harper. He's just playing off the front now, and there's a little bit of space between the United back four and their middle men, and I see Jim McLean out insisting that Dolan goes in there, drops back a bit so that Harper is denied the space that he's been exploiting. So Tommy's very, very shrewd tactically, and he's spotted that, so I'd imagine that you won't find Jamie Dolan venturing too far forward beyond the back four.
Power is back on. Swigan for Winters. Thompson going near post. Zetterlund coming into the centre as well. It's over his head. Partially cleared by Pat McGinley. Bowman just biding his time, keeping it sure and sensible for Dundee United, but the cross from Perry clearly aimed for Thompson, but not finding him. Pedersen. Zetterlund.
Yeah, it's inevitable. Whenever you see Zetterlund, you see Charnley, and vice versa. The two are shadowing each other around the centre of the pitch here, and I think cancelling each other out.
Charnley almost with an air of frustration, playing it into the channel then, wanting to do more than that on the ball. He's now talking to the referee, perhaps complaining about Zetterlund's attentions when he should be concentrating on what Bowman is doing here. And it was Lars Zetterlund who came round the back with a header.
Yeah, while Chick Charnley is discussing things with the referee, Zetterlund runs free, and there he is, dangerously positioned at the back post. A good header. It would have been better, I think, had he headed it back across the face of the goal. It was hard to score from that angle. But Chick's discussion with the referee allowed Zetterlund the freedom to run in at the back post.
Power. Lavetti. McGinley forcing himself down the right-hand side. Lavetti with a cross that's really too high for Harper. Brought out by Bowman. Dolan. Zetterlund moving free again. And Dolan running into a bulldozing challenge from Yogi Hughes.
Well, it was a foul, and not even Yogi's apology can excuse him the yellow card. John Robotham, the referee, has red yellow carded Hughes there, and it wasn't in a dangerous position, so you know, it seems a wee bit rash to commit a foul as far away from goal as that and incur the wrath of the referee and get a yellow card for your trouble.
haven't had the best of fortune in this first half. Brian Welsh is definitely labouring from the injury he picked up a few minutes ago. Lee Power is back in the action, but he's spent several minutes in what I think in rugby league terms they call the blood bin.
Yeah, Hibs haven't been too lucky because Power's been off for spells during this half, and now Brian Welsh is an injury.
Hughes was a bit fortunate there, and well, there was an effort at goal that Power could have possibly diverted, but there is going to be a change, and it's an unhappy return to Tannadice for Brian Welsh. But Brian Grant, who of course had more than 12 years with Aberdeen, no stranger to football at this level.
Well, Brian Grant's
he's a midfield player.
Midfield player, yeah. I see him going in at the back. Just it's a straight replacement, and clearly that'll be an unfamiliar position for Brian Grant. Although he's a vastly experienced player, I don't recall him ever playing in that role before. But here we are, no doubt in practice matches and in friendlies at Easter Road he'll have done it. But he's in the left centre-back position.
Well, you look at the other two substitutes available to Jim Duffy, both strikers Paul Tosh and Greg Miller.
Yep, all credit to him coming away from home and being very positive with his bench. But unfortunately, it's not worked out too well with Brian Welsh having that injury. That's one thing that we'll get from Brian Grant. He'll use the ball well from the back.
Power, Harper. Well, it was a couple of years ago now that Kevin Harper really burst onto the scene with Hibs. Hasn't quite fulfilled that early potential, but he's determined to do so over the months ahead.
Yeah, he's a under-21 squad player. He's actually scored 3 in a recent under-21 international, so he's got all the potential in the world.
Power. Living up to his name. Pass from Pedersen. The strength of Lee Power had some repercussions because Jamie Dolan is down.
Yeah, Tommy McLean's looking a bit frustrated there because it's an uncommon sight to see Jamie Dolan lying injured. Jamie's one of the toughest guys in the league, and he seems to have got a face knock in that clash with Power.
Well, it was the sort of handoff designed to get the forward on his way, really, rather than designed to inflict major pain on an opponent.
No, not in any way malicious, I'm sure, Martin, but
finger in the eye, maybe.
Yeah. I can tell you, Dolan won't be lying down unless he's hurt, because he's a tough guy.
It's been quite sparky, the matches between these two clubs last season, and in all 4 of them a player was sent off. I think a year ago this very day, when Hibs came here and won 1-0, one of the early results that contributed to the dismissal as manager here of Billy Kirkwood. It allowed the job to be vacant for Tommy McLean. Dave Bowman went off very early in that game. Grant. Now down. First 40 minutes with Dundee United leading by a goal to 0. That doesn't tell the whole territorial story of the match to this point.
No, I suspect that Hibs have had the better chances and at least as much, probably more of the play.
But Zetterland getting on the ball again, well away from Charnley.
Tommy's not happy. He's very displeased with Gary McSwegan going unnecessarily into an offside position there, and I can assure you Tommy will be letting him know, and you'll hear about it at half time as well.
Dow. Yeah, especially as the ploy of Zetterlund against Charnley is working in Dundee United's favour.
Yeah.
At this point in the game, although Charnley did begin very brightly. And harder for him as the half has developed. Boca. Here's Lavetti. Power in the centre. McGinley is very good in the air, coming from the far post. The cross didn't come into that part, but Dijkstra pouring it behind for a corner.
Yeah, this is a good play by Lavetti again, but it was a cross-come shot and well saved by Dijkstra, although he had to concede the corner.
In from Harper. Oh, Hughes against the post! More misfortune for Hibs. John Hughes guiding in what he thought was the equaliser, and the ball bouncing out off Dijkstra's right-hand post. Harper. Here's McGinley. Lavetti, Harper. Dundee United fans may be looking at their watches now, hoping that half-time will quickly be upon them, because Hibs trying to force the tempo of the game again. Malpass leading a breakout for the home side. Now it's a poor ball from McSwiggan. Here's McGinley. He's given it away. The game's spread at the moment. Malpass recognising that. He rather made Winters put on the brakes for a moment. Malpass can have it again. Dolan's free on the left. Malpass deciding to go through the centre. Well, let's have a look at...
Yeah, this was a great header from Hughes, and I think he thought he'd scored. I thought it had gone in, but it was saved. United were saved by the post. Wonderful cross, fine header. He came across the front of the defender, marking him, and got the header. But then United were very dangerous in the break, and that's a hallmark of their play. When they're pressed down in their own half, they break very quickly and incisively.
Presley helping out Malpass, who had miscued uncharacteristically. Miller letting it run. The last thing managers want to hear commentators being too lavish in their praise of young footballers, but Thompson has shown that he belongs in this company, and what we've seen in the first half at Tannadice today. Grant. Ball forward from Perry. It's seen as a push by Grant.
Brian Grant, not so used to being in that position, was up rather clumsily there with his elbow. And a push, and clearly a foul. In a dangerous position, particularly with Big Thompson on the diagonal position at the back post.
Well, Bowman thought about rolling it into midfield to Dolan, but he clips it in to that area. Look at the climb of Thompson. No wonder Dundee United looking for that sort of supply. Bit abrasive between Charnley and Bowman. A boozer for Charnley, something that he's had once or twice in his career.
Yeah, well, Charnley's been forced to play so very deep, and he's made some good use of the ball, long diagonal balls, but he's been forced to play very deep in this game, and I'm sure Hibs would like to see him a little bit further forward into threatening positions so that he can get that lethal left foot ready for a strike and goal.
Down. Charnley to Harper. I don't think Bowman did too much wrong. Free kick given to Hibs, quickly taken by Harper. Now Hibs get a corner in stoppage time at the end of the first half. Looking for an equaliser here. They're a fraction away from it, following a quick corner from that far side a moment or two ago. As McNamara and Duffy pondering
Yeah, they'll be wondering what they can do in the second half, but I would suspect that they'll leave things alone. And a short corner for a variation.
Over the head of Perry when Charnley finally knocked it in. McGinley, that's neatly done. Cross from Lavetti. Hughes standing his ground again. Awkward for Grant, but he's got a midfield man's mobility.
Yeah, good play by Brian Grant. He's got to be safe there because John Hughes is upfield for the corner kick and has remained there.
And it drops to McGinley. And he's sent tumbling by Malpass. For the foul, he will receive a yellow card. McGinley did his best to get over the hurdle.
He did, but it was a foul. Maurice Malpass, not common for him to concede fouls. I think it's his first of the match, but he's got a yellow card because it was a late one and in a very dangerous position. So a good chance for Hibs here. Charnley with this left foot of his from about 28 yards there.
Bit close for Chick, isn't it?
Too close.
Because he scored from over 50 yards in the Coca-Cola Cup in Hibs' last game.
Yeah, two left-footed players there, Dow and Charnley on the ball, so we can expect, I think, Charnley to try and bend it round and over the wall.
So here goes Chick Charnley, beaten away by Dijkstra. The goalkeeper who's stood up to everything that Hibs have thrown at him in the first half. Two good saves from Power, and now denying Charnley from the free kick. And the acceleration from Winters important for Dundee United to just get the ball out of territory like this.
Yeah, the free kick was just too straight and it gave Dijkstra the chance to save it, and he wisely didn't try to catch it because I'm sure it would have squirmed from his grasp had he done that. But an excellent free kick and a very good first half, I think, Martin.
Yes, indeed. One goal for Dundee United, the product of it coming halfway through the half after a spell of Hibs pressure, and the teenager Thompson really looking for him to show his power in the air, but his skill on the ground, setting up Robbie Winters to score. And Tommy McLean, who was pretty animated in complaining about some aspects of his team performance, is delighted by that. Three good saves from Dijkstra, and at half-time at Tannadice, Dundee United go in front, but it's not been easy for them. They lead Hibs 1-0 at the break. Half, there he is right out the kick-off with Lars Zetland. He's replaced Gary McSwegan. It is a tactical change.
Yeah, not surprised to see that change because Tommy McLean, the manager, doesn't suffer fools gladly, and I think he was a bit annoyed once or twice with Gary McSwegan, particularly near the end of the half when he ran unnecessarily into an offside position. He gave him a blast from the side, so I suspected he would give him it at half-time as well. And Andy McLaren is versatile. He can play either through the middle or wide, and it looks as though he's going to play wide on the right, trying to exploit Jimmy Boca, who had a less than comfortable first half, I felt.
So Dundee United trying for their first win in 9 meetings with Hibs. And remember, the two sides are back here on Wednesday in the Coca-Cola Cup. But Skalskan won't be on duty for Hibs. Put his eye on the ball, he felt, but as the ball was arriving, there was a bit of push and shove with Power.
Yeah, unwise to concede a free kick in that position. We saw what Charnley can do just at the end of the first half, and I'm quite sure he'll be trying for a repeat.
Well, Dijkstra's put up the shutters so far, with the help of a post, of course, in the first half. Here goes Charnley. That hit Malpass.
Yeah, good defensive play.
Calls for handball by Dolan. That's spotted by either referee or the assistant on the far side. Eddie Dow. Hibs very much more in the image of Jim Duffy these days. A lot of players brought in by a manager who's not yet a year into the job, and several on their way from Easter Road.
Yeah, Jim couldn't be too displeased with the first half performance. I think they played well and were a bit unlucky to go in a goal down.
It is a real contest. This is the end where traditionally Dundee United do more damage. McLaren was trying to make a move now. Got Galveston, found himself outside of his area after a little bit of tentative footwork. Malpass. Winters, the scorer of the game's only goal so far. Hughes, nicely delivered up to Levetti. Dow, Power making the run.
Yeah, some good play from Hibs there, nice possession, but Andy Dow's long range one went out of play for a throw-in.
The circumstances here might suit the Dundee United style. Hibs have got to press on as the half develops in the quest for an equalising goal. Tommy McLean's team's usually adroit on the counter-attack. Dykstra a bit on the short side to Pedersen. Harper, who took up some threatening positions, particularly in the last 15 minutes or so of the first half. And it was from his cross that Hughes headed against the post. Grant. Too high for Power. Hughes going in again, characteristically. This is Levetti. He was strong enough to keep himself near enough to the ball to get brought down here.
Yeah, again, this is another dangerous position. It's a Charnley position yet again for the third time, so it might be the third time lucky for Chick Charnley. He's had two fierce drives from that position. We'll see what he does this time. I notice, as we suspected, he is playing a bit further forward, and he's almost up beside Kevin Harper there, which is pulling Zetterlund back into a defensive role.
I also think he might just have moved the ball
he has indeed.
into a more central position to take this free kick from where the actual offence
correct
occurred.
Yeah. He has. That's typical of Chick.
But the good news for Hibs if Levetti can put his problems of the last year or so behind him and really put some games together. So here goes Charnley, and this time he uses Harper, who had to stretch as the ball was rolled square. Thompson chasing. Dow. Yes, what's happened, Craig, is that McGinley's closer to Zetterlund now.
Absolutely, yeah. And Chick Charnley, although I said he had pushed forward, I see him away back there trying to receive it from the back four in a deep position yet again.
Here is Zetterlund, and Charnley's back on duty.
There they are together, jumping for the high one. They're never apart.
McLaren tricking Boko, looking for the early cross. Something for Thompson to really battle for. And battle he did.
Yes, he did. It was a good ball in, but Willie Miller was there to the rescue to help his Icelandic goalkeeper.
McLaren, who must have been encouraged by his last involvement. And strikers love the ball to be served in early.
Yeah, McLaren did well getting past Boko there, and an early ball, you're right, Willie Miller did exceptionally well to knock it back, and there's just a risk of it being considered a pass back there.
Dolan. That was short from Boko. It's led to McLaren crossing, and Hibbs to still be in some danger, although Charnley pulls it down with another assured touch. And Boko gets it further forward, this time towards Levetti, but it's hard for Power and Levetti to hold it up at the moment. And here's Pedersen over Winters. McLaren challenging, the shot from Thompson.
Yeah, McLaren does very well here, and unfortunately for Thompson, it landed on his right foot. Had it been his left, I'm sure he managed to keep it down, but that was still a fine shot, but he couldn't go over the ball, and it went into the crowd behind the goal. Good play from United.
Charnley, pressed by Zetterlund. Malpass, now Perry. Well, Andy McLaren, since coming on for the second half, has made Jimmy Boko think about his style of play, and Boko's attempt there to get to him quickly.
Yeah, I think that was a very shrewd substitution, because I saw Jimmy Boko against Celtic. He was excellent, but he didn't quite look so comfortable in the first half, and I think he certainly had an unsettled start to the second half. McLaren is causing him no end of bother, and there's an example when Boko was lucky to escape a yellow card.
We're calling him Jimmy Boko, which is what he wants. Jean-Marc his given name, but it's not something that's been a change brought upon by a move to Scottish football. He was always known in France by everybody, he says, except his school teachers, as Jimmy.
Well, as I said before, Jimmy is a term of affection in Scotland, and the Hibs fans like him very much. He seems to be a great guy, a good player, so that's an endearment, I think, Jimmy, when you're called that in Scotland.
Problem for the wrist of Hughes.
Yeah, Stuart Colley's putting the bandage on Hughes, but obviously it's it could be considered time wasting, but the last thing Hibs want to do is waste any time, because they need all the time to get the elusive equaliser, which I'm sure they seek.
And John Rowbotham very sensibly is holding out the arm with the watch there, letting everybody know that all this time will be taken into account.
Yeah, good refereeing as usual from John Rowbotham.
Hughes back on duty. Just carrying that right arm rather awkwardly. Whether he'll be able to get the leverage here, we shall see. Maybe not, but it was against Thompson, who is so difficult to deal with in the air. In goes McLaren. Charnley can only loop it high. Harper at least gets it forward. The shot is from Dolan, and it doesn't trouble Gottskalksen. 2 up for Hibbs. Power. Crowd not liking the way that he just manoeuvred himself into Presley. The referee didn't see anything wrong. But both Levetti and Power will tell you that they need more training to be fully match sharp. And they're being pressed into starting service for Hibs earlier than Jim Duffy would have wanted.
Yeah, and of course they're against the vastly experienced Maurice Malpass, who's reading this game brilliantly.
So Presley takes the free kick. Definitely the body of Boko, making clear that the arms are out of the way. Dolan doing well to help the ball fall for Perry. Thompson prepared to take on Hibs. Back goes Grant.
Yeah, Thompson's been a revelation here. He's got great close control for a big fellow. Excellent in the air, and certainly one for the future for United. And he's not doing too badly in the present either.
McGinley. And it's a much more relevant match for the Scottish manager to be watching, with, I think we counted 16 Scots starting the game.
Yes, that's great. 8 on each side, Martin, and it gives me a good chance to see all the people who are being promoted for international inclusion. Here's one of them, Robbie Winters.
Taking it against Grant. Again, John Robotham was very well placed. Some rather hopeful cries from the Dundee United fans in that part of Tannadice, down in the bottom corner there, but none of the players were appealing for handball against Grant. Another nervous prod forward by Boko, as if he's concerned about McLaren. A bit of tinkering with the tactics maybe from Jim Duffy.
Yeah, I can't see what he's instructing them to do, but it'll become apparent as the game progresses, I'm sure, Martin.
McLaren. It's nicely played out on the half volley by Dow. It's not so good. Zetterland. Hughes deciding he got to come forward to deal with it. Willie Miller just happy to hoist it away into Dundee United territory. Charnley trying to get something going with power here. Free kick to Hibs. And while the ball was moving, Charnley decided to play it. Pedersen was still there, and it's a matter for the referee to rule whether there was any intent. You clearly saw what Charnley thought about it. He thought that it was something of an assault. Pedersen did definitely move to make an attempted block.
Yeah, I don't think he meant to impede Charnley. He meant to block the ball, and certainly kicked the moving ball there. Pedersen I've seen quite a bit of, and he's certainly a hard player, but never been a dirty player in my opinion.
Comes in from Willie Miller. Dykstra commanding his area, trying to use the pace of Winters. So is one goal going to be enough for Dundee United? We've still got half an hour to go. And Pedersen apologising there to Charnley, who's still feeling that. It's a moving ball, but it was a straight leg. And here is Pedersen. Charnley really out of the equation at the moment. John Robotham again, right on hand, in case things were going to spill over then.
Yeah, you must give John Robotham credit. He's never far from the action. He was only 2 yards from that incident that gave them a perfect view of what happened. And
he's for Willie Miller.
And he's booking Willie.
In from behind. given the recent history of meetings between these two clubs, had to go back a while to find a Hibs-Dundee United game that finished 11-aside.
Well, let's hope this one does, but we like a wee bit of spice in our games, but we don't want any dirt and we don't want any extreme foul play, I'm sure. The Chick Charlie's taken a while to recover from that challenge, but I hope he gets up and gets on with the game, because he's one of the most talented players on the pitch.
And if there is any vengeance, let's hope he goes about it the proper way with the ball. So it's McLaren with the free kick. Oh, and in came Thompson.
A great saving header from Pat McGinley there.
Referee originally pointed for a goal kick here, but it's surely a corner.
If you watch Pat McGinley, he just gets up ahead of Thompson, which is a superb defensive work.
Maybe he's given a push by Thompson.
I think it was a free kick, yeah.
Comes Pedersen. Miller getting it and quickly wanting to force it forward for Lavetti there, who was somewhat isolated, but at least Hibs get the throw well up the Tannadice pitch.
Yeah, but he was still isolated when he was given the throw in, and there would been little support had he managed to get good possession from it.
Incidentally, we did check with the man himself that the name is Lavetti and not Lavity. There's some pre-match debate.
Well, there's always been Lavetti here in Scotland, and certainly in the under-21 team and the youth teams where he played very well, he was Barry Lavetti.
And that is Andy Dow.
Another under-21 player for Scotland. Andy Dow's had an excellent game, I feel, in midfield for Hibs today. You know, using the experience he gained across the road at Dens Park, then down at Chelsea, and then back here, playing well for Hibs in the left side of midfield.
Barry Lavetti played against Alloa in the Coca-Cola Cup and was a scorer then in Hibs' previous game. Tommy McLean has still got Olofsson and Neil Duffy, the cousin of the Hibs manager Jim, as possible substitutes. Here's Dow. Easy for the goalkeeper. And once more, Dykstra, of course, has to get rid of the ball quickly, but it was noticeable, Craig, that he threw to start the move that led to the only goal of the game. The kicks haven't, although they've been direct, haven't been quite as effective.
No, both goalkeepers have been kicking it, Martin, but it was significant that on the one occasion, I think, in the first half, when Dykstra threw the ball, it resulted in a goal. And we pointed that out at the time, and I think it's quite a significant thing, and maybe it's difficult to throw when the opposing team has three forward players trying to receive it when it's played to your back four.
Charnley. Hibs have the throw. Harper trying to reimpose himself on the match. McGinley. Dow. And Dundee United marking up well. They'll be happy to keep Hibs playing in front of their defences as they are at the moment. Miller. Malpass with the challenge on McGinley. Back with Dow. Can he find a way through? Cuts into Malpass. Still Andy Dow. Showing the sort of fight that Hibs need aplenty in this situation. Charnley was always calling for it from Boko, and he got it, and he gets beyond Zetterland. Now Lavetti, Charnley. Brought out by Malpass. Well, Maurice Malpass, who has been booked, is in trouble here. but I'm not sure what sort of intent was involved there. He was coming out with the ball, and he's off.
He must be off for the push, I think. It was a push in the back of Jimmy Boko.
Well, an almost statesman-like figure in the Scottish game, Maurice Malpass.
Yeah, and I was looking at him and I was about to say, but for one bad tackle in the first half, he had been immaculate and was in serious contention to be the man of the match, in my opinion.
Well, we've been talking about the previous disciplinary record in these fixtures, and there's another sending off, and this time it's Dundee United on their own ground who've lost a player, and a key player at that.
Well, I'll tell you, you get tremendous odds against Maurice Malpass being sent off in any game. That's quite unbelievable.
Boko. Now Levetti. Well, Hibs do need a little bit of patience to go with the problems that they have. But now, well, things are moving to their advantage with the decision from John Robotham to dismiss, of all players, Maurice Malpass. There's going to be another change here. Thompson, who played in that reserve game on Friday. Tommy McLean saying, well, we'll give him an hour. Well, he's had a little bit more than that. Yeah, he's done very well, and on comes Neil Duffy, as I say, the cousin of the opposing manager. Yeah, he's sacrificing a forward player for a defender in the absence of Maurice Malpass. So United will now be 4-3-2 formation by the look of it, with the Neil Duffy in the centre of the defence. Well, is it going to be a case of what we have we hold for Dundee United? Harper.
I think that's what the situation will be, Martin. It'll be what we have we hold, but if any team is capable of scoring in the break, any team in Scotland, it's Dundee United.
Pedersen. Hughes having to backpedal, but making the header. Charnley. Zetterland. The referee again right on top of it to step in between McGinley and Zetterland. But this is a powder keg at the moment.
Yeah, it's not for the faint heart at the moment, and you know, the fans are enjoying it, but I think they'll enjoy it better once it settles down. We get a few passes.
Harper. Willie Miller forcing into the ball there, and that's a corner.
Yeah, I'm afraid all we're getting just now tackle upon tackle, Martin. Not quite clearly. We would like to see the ball being passed a bit more, but you can understand what's at stake. You can understand the fervour. Both teams trying to get into this top of the league position.
Charnley with the corner. Knocked away by Neil Duffy. Here's Boko. He's copping the flak because of the Malpass episode, but I don't think Boko was doing anything to try and fool the referee.
No, Boko wasn't at fault, in my opinion.
Charnley. Zetterland. Brian Grant's positional play for a makeshift defender has been of a pretty high order.
Yeah, Brian Grant's played very well, and he's given himself a couple of yards of space against the pace of Winters, and we saw it there, and he eased the ball back carefully to the goalkeeper.
Charnley. is Willie Miller. Dundee United checking back and holding the lead that Robbie Winters gave to them halfway through the first half. Gottskallsson has got to get there before Winters is on the scene. Not the sort of back pass that goalkeepers are grateful for. Bit of an apology there from the perpetrator of it, John Hughes.
Yeah, but good play by the goalkeeper, who was very comfortable in his clearance kick.
Bowman. And it's time for Jim Duffy to change things. Up front, Paul Tosh for a weary Lee Power.
Yeah, Paul Tosh coming on, and Lee Power has done well. He's fought hard, but Paul Tosh, another former Dundee player who was with Jim Duffy when Jim was a manager across the road at Dens Park, and he's certainly a thrustful guy who will give us all. We'll get plenty of energy, plenty of movement from Paul Tosh.
And Davy Bowman taking his time. Dundee United doing everything possible to run down the clock. A second goal would be a really big plus, and got settled and on the ball well forward. And Winters!
Yeah, Winters was well positioned. He peeled off, when that deflection took place, he peeled off John Hughes in a good header and a good diving save. Kept United from getting a second goal.
Just a quick chance to tell you what's coming up on Sky Sports. Monday Night Football, Luton against Southend, Sky Sports 3, we start at 7. And on Tuesday, back in Scotland, St Johnstone against the team in the news, Celtic, in the Coca-Cola Cup on Sky Sports 1, 7:30. Willie Miller. Here's the substitute, Tosh. Dealt with by one of the Dundee United replacements, Duffy. By Dolan, there's no one really for Winters to guide it on to.
And here's Chick Charnley, and he's got himself further and further back. He started the second half well forward, but he's very deep now. That's a good pass out to Boko.
McGinley. Harper. Here's Charnley. Falls on to the right to Willie Miller. And Charnley trying to get a better angle for Miller's cross. He did do that. I don't know whether Miller would have appreciated the extra ground he had to cover to reach the ball.
No, Miller did well, actually. There he goes crossing.
Now, Dykstra has been penalised, presumably for either hanging on to the ball for too long or taking too many steps. It's tough for goalkeepers these days.
Yeah, I think I saw John Rowbottom looking at his watch and touching it, and I suspected it's because he held too long. But you can count the steps here.
Well,
yeah, I'm sure it's time, yeah.
Is ticking away.
Yeah, to be fair to the referee, he signalled that.
Or, he says rather mysteriously, between 5 and 6 seconds. Not quite sure how you work that out. Anyway, too long. And so, indirect free kick and a chance here, and a real chance for Hibs to finally get level. Charnley. Ball is touched, but it goes to McGinley, but the referee's not ready. There's more complaints. Another potential flashpoint. It's not not just the weather that's steaming in Dundee today.
No, there's a bit of angle there, but what must be said is that John Bottom, the referee, is never far from the trouble, and he's intervened there very wisely.
Ginley moved away this time from the position a moment or two ago. Calling the shot, Sandy Dow. It goes to Charnley. When they were expecting the shot, Charnley pass and Paul
Yeah, this is superb play, and in fact, it looks as though they had rehearsed that in the training ground. It's most unusual, I think, for teams to practice free kicks inside the box, but I'm certain that they have done so because it was wonderful play, very creative, and a superb equalising goal. I think United will feel a wee bit aggrieved though that the goalkeeper for overcarrying the time lost the goal, but Hibs must take great credit for the creation there of that superb free kick.
It's Winters. And on comes Olofsson, who has left the starting line-up because they've rather packed the early season form.
Yeah, Olofsson's a strong man up front, and I think he'll give the legs that might be required for United in the last 10 minutes.
Well, we were concentrating on the quarrels, and then we got a flash of real quality from Hibs to produce a set-piece equaliser. Now we're back with the quarrels again. For Lavetti.
Yeah, by the way, he was late there, and he's another player being booked. But we must give great credit for that free kick situation. It's possible that it was rehearsed, but it's also possible that the quick thinking of the creativity of Chick Charnley made it possible.
The goalkeeper who had to be strong in the crowd there, and he was. Here's Tosh with his tail up, and Hibs now thinking that against 10 men they might be able to really come from behind and fashion a famous victory. Dolan, but they've lost all the defending at the back. Switch off.
Yeah, they did switch off. Only two men at the back there. That was Brian Grant and Jimmy Boko just as well. And also just as well that the big striker Olofsson didn't take an extra touch here. He hit it very early when he had much more time.
Charnley. Miller. Well, Chick Charnley, the father of invention, really.
Yes, indeed.
The free kick.
Superb, very creative indeed. You know, I was looking at set pieces throughout the game, and you know, even at certain free kick situations, you see Chick using his imagination, and on that occasion, it was absolutely wonderful.
Imagination, inspiration, and it's who have been telling all willing to listen that they're a much happier camp now, that they're determined to be beat and up-tempo in their season. Having got off to a spectacular start by beating Celtic in Edinburgh a couple of weeks ago, that wasn't going to be seen as a flash in the pan.
No, it was a spectacular goal that Chick scored to win the game against Celtic, and a spectacular free kick created here at Tannadice.
McGinley. Tosh. Oh, Pat McGinley has really got an eye for goal coming from midfield. Was hoping it was just a bit more on that touch. He was in the centre. And now Harper's in the middle. And Dundee United scrape it away. Looking for Olafsson on the break, well cut out by Hughes. Charnley. Lavetti. Harper was just leaning back as he struck it.
Yeah, nice chest layoff from Barry Lavetti, but you're right, Kevin Harper leaning back. And the game is now really very, very evenly balanced. With Hibs obviously having the ascendancy with the extra man and the equalising goal there, very, very anxious. And here's young Greg Miller coming on for Barry Lavetti.
A straight swap of strikers.
Yeah, Lavetti's put in a good shift for Hibs, and young Miller will certainly put in a good one in the remaining time available. 5 goals in pre-season games, and a very good scorer and a great athlete.
Charnley. Tosh. Well, the draw would be enough to put Hibs at the head of the Premier Division. Well, they're looking to make it 6 points out of 6.
Yeah, they are. They're fighting very, very hard to get a winner here. And they actually look like the home team at present. They're getting very good vocal support. They're getting plenty of action in the Dundee United half. But too many careless balls like that get into the box.
Olafsson, a Swede who made his name in Norwegian football. Still coming to terms with the fact that we've seen Maurice Malpas sent off. Five minutes left.
Yeah, when I saw the odds at the start of the programme, Martin, it was 9-4 for a draw, and that looked quite a good bet. But Hibs 4-1 could be an outside bet here, because I thought 4-1 were very generous odds for Hibs coming to Tannadice up on top of a victory against Celtic.
Miller, chased by Bowman. So running into Perry, free kick for Dundee United.
Yeah, Greg Miller got Perry on the ankle there. He was just too late to get the ball, and unfortunately quite a severe one on Mark Perry's ankle.
Well, they're hard taskmasters, the McLean brothers.
Yeah, that's Tommy there with Gordon Wallace trying to, and there's Jim. Jim not in his seat, which should be a seat one would imagine in the director's box, but not looking too happy there, standing in the director's box behind the glass. I think Jim's maybe wishing he was down there at the side of the pitch, trying where he could influence things.
Back goes Presley. Here's Tosh. And, typically tenacious piece of defending from Pedersen. Part of Scandinavian collection of players brought here by Tommy McLean at a crucial stage last season when Dundee United were real strugglers. And who'd have thought then that they'd end up qualifying for the UEFA Cup? But Tommy McLean now says his players have been thinking too much about that European involvement. Charnley. Craig, can I push you now on your man of the match?
Yeah, well, there are one or two candidates, and I think for Hibs, I've been very impressed by Andy Dow, but Steve Dykstra and Stephen Presley are the two for United. And I would go down for Presley, because it's a compliment to him that Hibs have changed both their strikers. Presley hasn't put a foot wrong. He's walked through the game quite majestically. Stephen Presley.
Yes, it's the right time of the year for the Presley fans, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Well, obviously nicknamed Elvis. That's hardly the most imaginative nickname for him, but Elvis has done very well here.
2 minutes to go. 1-1 at Tannadice. Charnley. McGinley. How's that going to drop off? A challenge from Perry as well. So Craig Brown's choice as man of the match, Stephen Presley. Olofsson getting the better of Grant. He's got absolutely no support. The shot was a decent effort in the circumstances. No one from Dundee United was showing much interest in supporting.
No, he's now on his own up front, Shell Olofsson, and he's got quite a job in his hands there.
Greg Miller, Harper's offside.
Yeah, there's Seb Dykstra away out looking for this ball, trying to urge his team on. But I think he must feel a little culpable, because by retaining the ball too long, he gave the free kick away, which cost the equaliser.
Yes, and our check on the timing suggests that the referee was absolutely right to penalise the Dundee United goalkeeper. Zetterland. Well, they did have two in the box then.
Yeah, they did have 2 against 2 in the box, and had a better cross come in, there was a chance of a late winner for the 10 men.
Well, there's going to be another incident for... I don't think John Rowbotham saw anything too untoward on that, but...
No, and his assistant referee is just 20 yards from the incident up the line, and he didn't see anything untoward either.
But it was painful for Pedersen.
Yeah.
And now the oppressive weather has led to a heavy shower, which the players might appreciate.
Yeah, I don't think the fans will on the road home, but I'm sure the players could certainly do with this rain, because they've put a hard shift in this afternoon. No one could be faulted for lack of effort. There's been plenty of energy, plenty of effort expended, and amongst it all, some very good play. We're getting the thunder and lightning here in Dundee.
Well, in keeping with some of the moments in this second half. They've come in their replica kits, and certainly not too much weather protection brought to the ground today by the fans. But rather like the match for Dundee United. It's turned a little bit nasty.
Yeah, and the noise has been made by the Hibs fans. Very happy with the comeback, and very happy with their favourite player, it appears, Jimmy Boko, who's playing just in front of them on the left side.
Well, he's getting at least some compensation from their reaction, from the reaction of the Dundee United fans, who felt he was culpable in that incident with Maurice Malpass. It wasn't an opinion that I shared. No, I think you, Craig.
No, I didn't. I thought no fault could be placed on Jimmy Boko.
Malpass clearly in the mind of the referee, just following through with his challenge in one way or another, and having been cautioned in the first half, there was little room for manoeuvre for the referee.
No, it's very rare even to have Maurice Malpass caution, far less sent off, but it's brought a lot more spice to the game, and it's given Hibs the urge and the enthusiasm that they required to eke out an equaliser.
Grant, a vital last outfield player for Hibs then.
Yeah, the ex-Aberdeen boy, Brian Grant's done very well for Hibs.
A certain amount of time to be added on here for a whole variety of reasons, but that is the final whistle. Dundee United still finding Hibs a tough nut to crack, even though Robbie Winters gave them the lead in the first half. But things changed, and Hibs can point to some unfortunate moments close to goal in the first half, but when Maurice Malpass was sent off and then Sid Dijkstra penalised for holding the ball too long, Hibs produced an equaliser of real inspiration. This after going behind to Robbie Winters here, with Stephen Thompson very much the architect. But how well it was worked for Paul Tosh to slide it in, and Jim Duffy delighted with the way that was worked. And it was a top quality equaliser in a tough game. Jim Duffy's team building on that spectacular start against Celtic a couple of weeks ago, and on virtue of goals scored, they now look down on the rest. 4 points from their 2 games. They overtake the overnight leaders St Johnstone. Very early days, of course, but Hibs, such strugglers last season, they will be very proud of their position. But there's still some complaints going on here. It's not been an easy game for John Robotham to take charge of, and I must say he called upon all his vast experience, and without too many major flashpoints in the end, it has reached its conclusion at 1-1. Let's get some post-match reaction straight away with Davy Provan.
To you first, Steve, the Bells man of the match this afternoon. Over the piece, any complaints about the outcome of this one?
We're very disappointed after taking a 1-0 lead at home. We're confident we could get a result today, but a 1-1 in the end, probably a fair result.
John, having hit the post with a header in the first half and watched Steve Dijkstra make a couple of great saves from Lee Power, do you feel there was a bit of justice in that equaliser?
We never got the breaks in the first half. We're a bit disappointed. We changed the tactics slightly today, and we tried to play it long and play on the second ball. In the first half it seemed to work, because as you say, we had a few chances, but that's the game. They took their chance and we were unlucky.
That's 4 points from what on paper was a difficult start with games against Celtic and Dundee United. Are you quite happy with the start you've made?
Yeah, we've done is set our standards, and the fans are coming out and supporting us. We have to keep that going all season. It's early days yet, but we know what's required.
Stephen, looking ahead after Wednesday night when Hibs come back up here in the Coca-Cola Cup, you go to Ibrox. Do you feel you're ready for that one now?
Yeah, I think so. It's very disappointing in the last 2 league games. That's twice we've been 1-0 up, and twice we've ended up with a 1 each draw, so it's something we need to look at.
And there was a lot of talk about tiredness after the trip to Turkey this week. How are the legs?
The legs are fine. I don't think tiredness come into it today.
OK, John, will you present the champagne to Stephen?
Thanks very much.
Well done, lads, thanks.
So well done to both sets of players. Still to come tonight on Sky Sports, here at 6:30, live Super League action. And Hibs, the visitors, with more attempts on goal and 8 on target to only 6 for the home side. And Hibs also won 7 corners to just 2 for Dundee United. Just 3 offside apiece. Now the story of the bookings in this game for Hibs: John Hughes, Willie Miller and Lavetti, the 3 men booked, and a double booking for Maurice Malpass, resulting in his sending off, the 7th man sent off in the last 6 games between these sides. They like each other, really. First half action areas, well, Hibs, the visitors, doing the best of the attacking there. And in the second half, perhaps this is bear it out even more strongly. Dundee United, with only 12% of the attacking play. Dundee United, just to repeat, were the home side. Ball in play 55 minutes plus, and Hibs shading possession 55% to 45%. Maybe a little disappointing, the attendance there. Deserve better. Hard-fought affair. Let's hear from the Hibs boss, Jim Duffy.
Jim, having gone in 1 down at half-time, are you quite happy to be leaving Tannadice with a point this afternoon?
Yeah, we're quite pleased at the end of the game to get a point. I felt we were a wee bit unfortunate in the first half to be 1-0 down. We thought we created some good chances, but it just didn't run for us in front of goal. So overall, we're quite pleased.
What about the goal that you lost it? Do you feel you might have defended that a bit better than you did?
Yeah, a lot better. I mean, Willie and Yogi both get too close to one another, and the young player Thompson get in between them. And then once that happened, it was just a case of having a good ball across the box. So we fell asleep a little bit there.
The sending off of Maurice Malpass, I'm sure you would agree, might have had a fairly significant influence on the match. How did you see that? Because it happened right in front of the dugout.
Yeah, I must admit, I felt it was maybe a wee bit harsh. If it would have been my player, I certainly wouldn't have been happy about it. I didn't really see too much in it at all. I don't know what the referee's seen. You'll have to ask him.
Nevertheless, you're reasonably happy, I take it, with the start you've made to the league campaign?
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult fixtures. Celtic and Dundee United, so we've taken 4 points. So we've got to be relatively pleased. And you're back up here on Wednesday on Coca-Cola Cup duty. What about injury-wise? Any chance of the likes of Tony Rougier or Stevie Crawford coming back for that one? Yeah, there's a possibility that both of those players will be fit. But obviously, we've got Brian Welsh now struggling, and Chick Chandler took quite a heavy knock in the ankle, so I think he'll be struggling as well. So maybe a bit of luck at be 2 in, 2 out.
OK, Jim, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And here in the studio we got Bobby Williamson and Charlie Nicholas with me. Well, Charlie, he should be pleased with himself the way he set up Hibs for the new season.
Yes, most certainly. They were very impressive against Celtic. They're through to the next round of the Cup, which we'll know about on Wednesday. But again, performed well today, played good passing football. Charlie did well for them in midfield, but defensively again I thought they looked pretty solid. Brian Grant came on and done a fine job.
Bobby Williamson, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Hibs have got to be pleased with the start to the season. I felt they could maybe have shaded the game today. But as Jim said, they never get the luck in front of the goal in the first half, and they've done well to get back into it.
Dundee United have the greatest difficulty beating this side, don't they, over the last few years?
It's 9 games now, and these things, they seem to drag on. The longer they drag on, the harder it gets to break it down. But I felt over the piece that maybe Hibs should maybe have got more out of it.
Yeah. Charlie, in a moment we'll look at the story of this game once more, but Hibernian were dominant before and after Dundee United went in front, weren't they?
Well, they did. I mean, Hibs dominated the game as a passing side. Dundee United, we know, are better on the break. They like to hit the quick players like Winters and McSweggan in behind, but they didn't really get much movement today. They didn't really get going at all. Even at 1-up, they still struggled. And Hibs, for me, played well today, and I totally agree with Bobby. I think lucky to go, in at half-time 1-0 up with Dundee United, but second half I thought Hibs deserved to at least maybe get a victory.
If Hibs can keep this going, it's going to breed a tremendous amount of confidence for them, isn't it?
Well, I think already you can see the difference. The victory against Celtic has shown already, and the players like Dow, Charlie have got a lift from that, but up front they maybe just need the Tony Rougier back just to give them something different, but they certainly looked an impressive outfit again today. Let's
look at the story of the game here then, shall we? And Bobby, I just wonder if you felt that Dundee United would make the pace in this game more than was the case.
Yeah, I felt both defences were well on top. They sat deep, and the linesman had an easy day today. Only 3 offside decisions because the defences sat so deep.
Very spread out in the first period especially, wasn't it?
That's right. A lot of room in the middle areas.
Great chance for Lee Power. He should have really scored there. Got to lift it over the keeper, but credit to Dykstra. But no, totally in agreement, especially first half. There was a lot of room. This is an example. Lavetti with a good snapshot, but there's a lot of room for midfield players, and I think Hibs, to their credit, probably used it better than Dundee United.
Dykstra had a good afternoon to start, but as we'll see later, things went wrong for him as the game developed. Yeah. Here's the opening goal then.
Yeah, he's done well. He's got through 2 of them, and Big Welsh is unlucky. It's went through his legs, and Robbie Winters goes into the back area and finished it well.
And we counted 10 passes in the move. That would have been a purest delight for Tommy McLean.
Yeah, he's got to be delighted with that goal. Great build-up, and it's an excellent finish.
But to be fair, there wasn't much from Dundee United to suggest that this was how they were.
No, well, there wasn't many clear-cut chances. Most of the good stuff was coming from Hibs at that time. Again, it's Lee Power with a lovely turn, good build-up play from Dow, good save again from Dykstra, second against Lee Power. But in saying that, it always looked threatening that Hibs are going to get right back into this match. In the second half it didn't come to, but even this, I mean, this is Harper, decent build-up, and then Big Yogi, determined to get it, bad defending, but he's so unlucky there. Really, Hibs deserved a goal from that.
Well, they couldn't break through.
Surprised Dundee United didn't squeeze out there when the ball came out in the short corner. They could have cleared the area a wee bit better.
Couldn't break through in the first period hard though they tried, and Charlie kept them up to their work.
Yep. Well, they kept at it. I mean, there was a few things. This is Stevie Thompson. Good shot. He's just got to take it.
What do you
early.
make of him today,
I was
Charlie?
impressed by him today, actually. Not, I mean, people mention about Duncan Ferguson. Not just this is Malpass he's sending off. Actually, this is probably a better angle.
Yeah.
Morris, okay, doesn't get involved in too much, but you can see there's a stamp in there. And for me, he's got to go. I think I've got to back the referee. The referee was spot on in his positioning. They might think it's a bit tough because it's Malpass, but for me, he deserved to go.
Okay, we'll try and look at that again in a little more detail later on. And hard though Dundee United worked down to 10 men, did you feel that swung the game back firmly for Hibernian, Bobby, that moment?
Definitely. Here you see the free kick was took short to the boy Tosh, and he slid it home. I don't know why the guy was on the goalpost to that side. He should maybe have been picking up Tosh and he wouldn't have got that chance.
We'll look at that again a little later. Good thinking, he says, the manager.
Well, it is good thinking. I mean, Bobby's point there, you could see 3 defenders all scrambling towards Tosh, and even Lavetti was at the back post, and Hibs certainly deserved the draw at least.
Presley expressed the disappointment Dundee United players were feeling. Would that be justified?
Yeah, I'm sure they will be disappointed. That's points dropped. I mean, they've been 1 up. Usually Dundee United are quite solid at the back and they don't give much away. But to lose a lead in successive weeks, they'll be disappointed.
All right, let's hear how Dundee United's boss Tommy McLean is feeling about that result. He's talking to Davy Provan.
Well, Tommy, a second successive league draw for United. How did you see this one this afternoon?
Well, we're disappointed. I thought we had a grip in the game, and to lose to the type of goal, the calibre of goal, is disappointing. But credit to the players. I think they deserve a lot of credit for how they went about it.
Where do you feel you slipped up at the goal?
Well, obviously we're caught a wee bit short, but I don't want to say too much about that. I think everybody's got their own impression. You know, if that goes on, I think there'll be a lot of these incidents if it's taken as rigidly as we had today.
A few minutes ago, Jim Duffy told us that he didn't see too much in the ordering off of Morris Malpass. How did you see it?
Well, Davey, you're asking questions that you're aware that we can't say it. All I'm saying is that Morris Malpass' record for 20 odd years speaks for itself, and he's not that type of player. Looking to the performance of young Stephen Thompson, how encouraging was that? Good, yes, he done really well. He came in, it was difficult for the lad because he played in a reserve game in midweek, but equipped himself really well. So he's one for the future, and that'll augur well. And the busy spell continues. How did you come out of this one injury-wise? 1 or 2 wee niggly knocks. It was that type of game, but hopefully a couple of days will settle that down. OK, Tommy, thanks for your time. Right, Davey.
Yes, the action does come thick and fast early in the season for Dundee United, at home and in Europe. Charlie, first up, the initial booking for Morris Malpass.
Yeah.
Was that justified in your opinion?
I don't know, I have my doubts about that one. The second one I was more convinced about. I mean, Pat McGinley for me, he's seen it coming. He's an experienced pro and he's read the tackle. But you see, I don't think there's much contact in it. But this one, Morris Malpass, I totally agree with Tommy McLean, it's not malicious in any way. But he knows where his left boot is going in that position. And for me, it's definitely a booking offence, which he'd already been booked, he had to go.
Bobby?
I felt Big Jimmy Boko tried to hamper him actually as he tried to go over him. And Morris tried to step over him. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt anyway. And he did connect with the guy, and the referee's right on top of it. He's called it the way he's seen it, so he had to go.
Charlie, is there much in this where it is the referee's discretion, or do you feel the referee has to err on and judge the player on his character, his previous record?
No, the referee's never got time for anything like this, Paul. The referee's got to see it and call it where the positioning is, and his positioning was spot on, and the way he's seen it, and his terminology is that he simply looked upon it as a stamp. Probably not malicious, but when you're stamping somebody high up in the chest like he did, you know, that could have been nastier, could have been easily a bit higher. So in that respect, you've got to go along with the referee. I'm not going to sit here and criticise the referee when I think he's probably called it right.
He is one of Scotland's most respected referees, Mr. Rowbottom, isn't he, Bobby?
Yeah, I would say so. He's been quite consistent in the past year, and he sent Morris off there for his second bookable offence. I don't think he actually gave him a straight red card. So he's merited it as a booking, and he sent him off.
Hard fought throughout, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was always going to be a battle, and it was evenly contested, I felt, at times. But I said, both defences defended deeply, and they left a lot of space in the middle areas. I felt Dundee United maybe got their passing going, little triangles, and they were linked up well. But then Hibs seemed to come into it more, and they created the best of the chances. OK, when we come back from this short break, we'll look again at the best of the chances and the goals once more. And we'll also be going back to review events yesterday. Tommy, can you hear me?
Yes, I've got you.
What would you like to say?
No, it's one or two people are pointing out. Charlie's made one or two comments about Morris deserves to go off, and I would like him to try and maybe reiterate that. He's had the benefit of insight, seeing the replays and what have you. But before he does say that, all I'm saying is Jim Duffy and myself are no more than 15 yards from the incident. Both are of the same opinion, and all we're talking about is Charlie sitting in a nice wee studio there, and comes out with these type of comments about a professional who is nothing short of magnificent integrity throughout his career.
I don't disagree with that, Tommy, but I've got different angles from you. You're 15 yards from it, sure, but I've different angles, and I've seen it as a booking. I know he's not a malicious player. I've played with Morris on many occasions myself. Total respect for the guy, but I think that was a booking offence, and I would have to agree with the keeper. Sorry, the referee. And if he disagrees with me, then we have to disagree on it.
Well, I'm disagreeing with you, Charlie. All I'm saying is you're sitting in there, and really you're a player that's had a lot of credit for throughout your career. But at this moment, your mouth seems to be as big as your head, because some of the comments that you're coming away with are totally outrageous. And all I'm talking about is this is another one.
Well, nothing ever pleases you at the best of times, Tommy. And if you think I'm going to please you now, you've got me wrong.
No, the type of guy you are, Charlie, there's not a lot of that. But all I'm talking about is, in my opinion, and the majority of people on the park and close to the action, are of the same opinion. That's all I'm saying. You and your nice wee hot studio and all the angles that you've got, all I'm saying is you've got it wrong.
Fair enough. Well, I stand by the angles that we've got. That's the game of football. It has many different opinions. Tommy has his, I have mine, and it's nothing personal. He's allowed his opinion as well as I am.
Right. Tommy, just one other thought. Obviously, you have the benefit of being so close to the action, but would you also accept from Charlie's point of view that he does have the benefit that people live in the stadium do not have, that he does have the video replay to call on?
No, but what I'm saying there is that the angles that you're showing, there's absolutely no way there was any maliciousness, in my opinion.
But that's what I've stated, Tommy.
Morris's
Tommy, I've
tackle.
stated there's no malicious intent in it. But there is a stamp in the chest, and the referee has agreed with what I've just said.
Charlie, you're talking there a stamp in the chest. That's wrong. For a start, they're saying it's a stamp in the stomach.
Well, there's not much in it.
So, well, you're wrong for a start, Charlie. So, OK, we'll leave it at that.
OK, Tommy, thanks very much. We were just going to have another look, I think, at the incident proper. I wonder if we can have a look at it once more. Tommy suggesting, Charlie, that it was a stamp in the stomach rather than the chest.
Well, I don't think there's much in it. I think we can see where it ends up, where Boko's hands eventually are holding. And it's maybe a lower chest, higher stomach, whatever way you want to look at it. That is not the relevant point. The relevant point is we both disagree on it, but my feeling is it was a booking. OK, well, one way or the other, the point is that he is going to be suspended as a result of a sending off. Well, he is, and maybe that's part of the reason. Well, Tommy's upset also. Any thoughts from you, Bobby, on Tommy McLean's point of view?
Yeah, Tommy will be angry. As I said earlier as well, I felt Big Jimmy tried to hamper Morris as he was clambering over him, and his foot's caught him, but the referee's right on top of it. And if he feels it's malicious, why has he just booked him? Is it not a straight sending off? But the referee's booked him because he didn't feel it was that bad. So the referee's right on top of it. He's called it the way he's seen it. We all know Morris isn't that kind of player. But as I said, I thought Big Jimmy tried to hamper Morris getting to the ball, and his foot's connected with him. That's one of the talking points of the weekend from Scotland, and of course events yesterday at Celtic Park, where Celtic were beaten at home by Dunfermline. That set, Martin Tyler said it was the biggest story anywhere in British football this weekend, and Charlie Dundee United, and this a coach's dream. Yeah, 10 or 11 passes, goalkeeper to net. That's something you keep working training, just a shadow with actually no opposition there. No disrespect to Hibs, but they never really get close to anybody here. Got a wee break there, and McSwiggan sent down a line. But the big boy Thompson makes up some ground. He was in his own half back there. Now he's picking up the ball at the edge of the box. Good change of feet here, and he's through. Swings it across, and Robbie's at the far post, stinking away. That was the goal that put Dundee United 1-0 up in the first half, and Hibernian had worked so hard all day, eventually got their reward in controversial circumstances. One of the new rule changes for the new season, and under a directive from FIFA, just to remind everybody, Charlie, 5 to 6 seconds is all that the keeper's allowed to hang on to the ball. We've got a clock on Steve Dijkstra there, and it's 8 seconds before he releases the ball. Well, I think Bobby's like me. I mean, they end up finishing it quite well, Hibs, but I don't agree with this rule. It doesn't do anything for me. It was a decent catch from Dijkstra, but Hibs have made it count, and these are the decisions that can cost you so much throughout a season. Beautifully engineered by Charlie, and Hibernian
getting a point away from home. Right, let's have a quick look at the top of the table, shall we? Celtic still stuck on the bottom, pointless from their opening 2 games. Aberdeen and Kilmarnock with 1 apiece. Dundee United now with 2 points from their opening 2 games. They were looking for more than that. Dunfermline, Motherwell and Hearts joining Rangers on 3 points. But St Johnstone now tipped by Hibernian. Hibs leading in Scotland with 4 points. They're top of the table by virtue of goals scored. Well, it's a big turnaround for Hibernian, isn't it, Charlie, compared to last season where they struggled so much?
Well, it most certainly is. I mean, Jim Duffy's changed the team now. Leighton's gone, Jackson's gone. He's brought in new players and he's starting to shape them into a nice unit. But they play very attractive stuff now, and that's the most exciting thing of all for Hibs supporters. They're starting to look good.
Let's hope for the sake of Jim Duffy, the boss there, that he can keep it going. My thanks to Bobby Williamson for being with us today. Kilmarnock back in action in the Cup in midweek. And as usual to Charlie Nicholas, enjoyed your company. Thank you very much. And before we leave you, just a couple of reminders about the next live football coming. Monday evening, Football League action from England, Sky Sports 3 at 7. It's Luton Town against Southend United from Kenilworth Road in Football League Division 2. And the Cup action from Scotland on Tuesday night, 7:30. Third round of the Coca-Cola Cup, St Johnstone against Celtic, Sky Sports 1 at 7:30, the latest instalment in Celtic's troubled start to the season. Hope you can join us for that. Thanks for being with us for now. From the whole team, see you soon.